Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Gervonta Tank Davis and Hector Garcia, the last and final press conference. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take this opportunity right now to hit the subscribe button. And while you're also at that, if I could please ask you to hit that thumbs up button. It truly does help and support the channel. Let's jump back into it. So, I think a few questions were answered in this press conference. I think the number one question was Gervonta Tank Davis's focus and where is his mind at? And I think this press conference showed a few things. He was asked basically with all that's going on, lately in your life, how are you going to handle with the fight? And, basically, how are you going to move forward and focus on the guy in front of you? And he said the stereotypical answer, which was, I've been doing this my whole life. And that's true. All I know how to do is fight. Like he's not like he's worked any other job. Like all he's ever done is fight. So when in doubt, do what I do best and throw my fist and tear somebody's head off, and that honestly, so normally under normal circumstances, that wouldn't really suffice much. But when you look at somebody like Gervonta Tank Davis, who's not the most articulate individual in the world, it actually does suffice. For me, it actually does suffice because I believe him. I believe that he said, hey, I've been doing this since I was 7. It's just like, all right, what else do you want me to do? Go write a book? No, like this is what I do. Like I don't care if I don't care if there was a tsunami. This is what I do. Yeah, I would try to get out of the water, but once I get out of the water, I'm still ready to fight because this is what I do. And I believe that. I think he was being honest in that answer. And I know it came across as very simple, but I think it was a very honest answer. All right, well, I'll handle my home affairs after the fight. This is what I do. This is how I make a living. Not just how I make a living, but it's also all I've ever done. This is kind of what I've been bred to do. I've been doing this since I was 7. I was a single digit numbers. So, I believe him. I really do believe him. When he was asked about Hector, I like that he said, it's going to be fireworks. It's going to be fireworks. And I think with this fight, there needs to be a statement made for several reasons. I think the first reason that there needs to be fireworks is because I think it gets him away from the controversy. Because they're like, Gervonta Tank Davis this and his girlfriend this and, the arrest and yada yada. And then it's like, yo, did you see that knockout by Tank? You totally forgot about the controversy. That goes out the window fast. You want great PR as a boxer, knock your next opponent out. That's great PR, period. The other reason is it's setting up the next fight. We all know what's on the table. We all know who's on the table. We all know what's waiting for Gervonta Tank Davis after this fight. Lord willing, he finishes victoriously. We all know what's waiting for him after this fight. It's Ryan Garcia. Not to say that if he did, if it was a mediocre fight, he still wouldn't get the Ryan Garcia fight because Tank is super popular. Him and Ryan, they might be equally as popular. So he would definitely still get the fight, but I think it adds to the fight. I think Tank and Ryan are big together. And I think it's a big fight together. But Tank coming off a spectacular knockout and then facing Ryan, even better. Much, much better. Much better. And because of all the controversy, and unfortunately, sometimes controversy can be used in a bad way. Bad controversy can be used in a good way, meaning that it keeps Tank's name relevant. It's just still out there because it's like, yo, did you see that knockout? Yo, you heard about him and his girlfriend? Yo, that knockout was sick. Because there's multiple streams of conversation about one individual. So it keeps his name out there. And then by the time Tank's hand is raised victoriously, Ryan's going to jump in that ring. Ryan Garcia's going to talk that trash. Tank's going to talk a whole lot of trash back. We're all going to get excited and jittery and hope that these two don't turn into Earl Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford. And it's just a bunch of talking back and forth, and we don't see this fight for years to come. We hope that they mean everything they say when Ryan Garcia gets into the ring. He seems extremely serious. So I can only believe at this point, anything that doesn't transpire, I'm going to have to look at Tank's corner, because Ryan Garcia seems laser focused on Gervonta Tank Davis. So there's a lot at stake, and there's nothing but good things in an upward trajectory. When Tank finishes this fight and he gets the knockout that he says he's going to get, I think nothing bad is going to happen after this fight. Everything's going to be up. Everything's going to be good. Now, there was, Tank was asked about Hector, in which case he said, I didn't like that he referred to me as a criminal. And it was something along the lines of just, Tank does get that. I think a lot of people view him as a thuggish hood type of guy. And, you look at this kid and he's got the tattoos and he's got the braids, and I can definitely see, the stereotype. And I say that because I get the same stereotype. And I've gotten, all my life, the same stereotype. And Tank is truly coming into his own in multiple ways. I think the most obvious way is his intellect. Meaning when you listen to him now, he's starting to articulate himself a lot better. I think he's finally becoming a man in the sense that he's getting comfortable in front of the camera. And, he's not necessarily waiting for other people to finish his sentences or anything like that. He understands the question and he can give a quick response, or a quicker response. So I think he's coming into his own, in which case he didn't like the criminals comment. He said that basically Hector was dressed like a lawyer or something like that. I guess they're trying to make some banter, whatever the case. But Tank's like, yeah, you gave me, listen, I had so much stuff going on, but now you've given me what I need to refocus on you and put you in your place. And I'm like, okay, I like that. I definitely like that. I like that. I like that energy. I like that focused energy. I like that. And basically, that's just Tank saying, you know what? I need a reason to dislike you. I don't need a reason to want to win against you, but in this moment, I feel like I think he needs a reason to dislike Hector. And I think Hector provided him with enough for Tank to want to do him bodily harm. Yes, he was already going to go in there with the intentions of knocking his head off, but now he wants to go in there with the intentions of knocking his head off. Is basically what I'm saying. And in the end, it was a pretty good, press conference, for a Gervonta Tank Davis press conference, because, he never really says a lot. But what I really enjoyed, and I think is the most telling of all during, the last 2 weeks in his life, is when they faced off, Gervonta Tank Davis and Hector Garcia. Tank, got in his face and he pushing him, and then Hector kind of pushed him back. You can clearly tell Hector didn't know if Tank was joking or not. And, even Hector curled up, if you are to do something, I'm prepared for it. And Tank starts, wobbling back and forth he's going to spaz out. And then, he turns to take the picture and he gives a big smile. And I was like, okay, all right. He's fine. He's okay. He's not rattled. He's not in a dark place. He's not in a bad place. He's right where he needs to be. And he's very comfortable. And I think overall, when you take somebody who's going through a volatile time, and outside the ring, it could be a rocky or volatile time or crazy atmosphere going on. But you take a guy like that who's literally been raised in the ring, and you put him in a violent setting, and you see he's right at home. And right up there with Hector, he was right at home. I remember it was Floyd Mayweather, and he said, I could be doing anything and I can be anywhere in the world, but the minute I walk into a boxing gym, something switches on inside of me. and he says, I'm home. And I think the same thing for Gervonta Tank Davis. I definitely think the same thing. I think he's comfortable in that arena. Now, although he wasn't in the ring, he can see and visualize, not visualize because it's right there, but he can see his opponent. And he can visualize what he's going to do to him. And that is comforting because he knows that there's an end date to this. He knows, unlike anything else in my world or my life, because now I'm a millionaire. If I put my hands on somebody, I'm going to jail. They're going to sue me. I can legally put my hands on you and nothing bad is going to happen. They're only going to praise me for it. And that's what gave me the comfort to say, okay, Tank has got this fight. I've already picked him in my fight breakdown in prediction. If you haven't watched that video, please go and watch that video. It gives insight on why I think Gervonta Tank Davis is going to win. But I feel really good. My main thing was really just worried about his mental state, and he seems just as jovial and playful as ever. And I really like the smile in the end, and that put me at ease in knowing, all right, you got this. You got this. Go out there and do what you do best. But with that being said, please like, please share, please subscribe.